Hello, and welcome back to more of Manufactoria 2022. Last time we learned that you need to think through your designs a little bit more before you jump into them, and when you do, it makes the whole process run a bit smoother. So we got through a challenging puzzle that had stumped me before, and then a couple other ones. So we'll just keep moving right along with jeans distressor. Distressed pre-ripped jeans were all the rage a few years back. Of course, style came with a high price tag. Why not build a robot that would tear up your existing jeans and get the same look cheaper? Let's see. Accept robots that enter with the same number of red and blue, junk the rest. Okay, so this is interesting in that they don't necessarily have to be like consecutive or alternating. Like you could have a blue, 5 red, and then 4 blue, for example. What I'm thinking is it's also going to be a little tricky to figure out when you're at the end. I'm thinking I might need to split out based on the start, whether it's red or blue. And then okay, so let's say I've seen at least one red. Then I'm going to need to keep going until I see at least one blue. And the simple way to do that would be something like this. So it will keep reading reds until I see a blue, but I don't know if there are any blues. So maybe I could add a blue. At least that way I'll know we'll see one. But then the tricky part is, how do I know whether this last blue that I've read is actually part of the input, or if it's just the blue I just added? Okay. I mean, if there are reds and blues, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. And instead of looping through until I see another blue, I should see if I can find like a red and blue next to each other that are consecutive. But again, let's just run through some examples. Wait. Oh, I'm silly. I did not read the instructions carefully enough. All the reds are before all the blues. That makes it a lot simpler. So, okay, I was thinking they could be anywhere. So let's, oops. Let's get rid of, let's see. So, okay, so we read at least one red. We delete it. We should keep writing until we see at least one blue. And then if we do see a blue, we can keep going. So this would delete a red and a blue if there are an even number. An even number of red and blue should end up there. If there's more reds than blues, so if there's like 4 reds and 2 blues, 3 reds and 1 blue, 2 reds and 0, then we should just junk it here. If there's more blues than reds, we can just junk it here. Is that as... oh, it is? No. So this had 2 reds. And it gets stuck in an infinite loop. Right, so that was my concern before. So I need to ensure that there's at least one red. And if there is at least one red, then this should work. And I might need to do the same thing with there being at least one blue, but let's try this. Okay, this had a red on blue. Right. Two reds, one, then two. Okay, that's the same problem as before. Okay, let's go back to the design phase. There's going to be some number of reds and some number of blues. I can get rid of a red and a blue in a cycle. So the question is, what do you do if there's 0 reds and only blues? How do you determine? Okay, so if there's 0 reds and 0 blues, you want to trash it, which is this. If there's 0 blues and some reds, that's hard to determine. And if there's 0 of each, you need to go here. So how would I find out if there's only reds? That's a kind of tricky one, because you want to like preserve the numbers. You know, I could loop through everything, but I'd run out of figuring out how many reds there are. Well, could maybe write a blue so that I know there's at least one blue. And then once I see one red, I'm going to want to go through all the reds. And this has reduced the number of reds by 1. So until I see a blue, that first blue I see could have been the arrow I saw before, so I'm going to want to cut out another blue. And then at that point I can just rejoin the conveyor belt. So let's see, some of these will fail. So a single red. Do I want to get rid of this conveyor belt? And because I saw a red. No, I don't. Okay, so a single red, no blues. Right, a bunch of reds and no blues. So if I had 2 reds, it would go 1, 2. Read the red and drop in the fire. So, but a single red and no blues was here. I think I want to do the same thing as down here, where I check if there's yet another blue, because I added one. But if I see a red, probably want to go back up. Do the start here. If I see a blue, do this. Okay, so that was one red. Had an extra blue, read it. Didn't have an actual real blue, so this needs to go on a fire. 2 reds and a blue. No, that should go back to 1 red and blue. So this, add a red. Yep, so I got rid of a red. I think this is basically what I want. Two reds. Okay. Let's control Z because this might have. Alright, so a bunch of reds. We do a red, we read a blue. We do a bunch of reds, we read the first blue, we drop it in the fire. So if there are multiple reds, more than blues, this should work. So like if I just have 2 reds, this should go into that fire. Yep, and if I have even more reds, it'll take slightly longer, but right, so 2 reds. We go read 1, read 2. We see the blue immediately. Okay. Two reds goes to the fire. 3 reds goes to a fire. A bunch of reds goes to a fire. So really, I need to check 1 red. For 1 red, we've got nothing. We see a blue. What's wrong? So if I have 2 reds and a blue, this goes to 1 red. I've deleted a red. I've totally lost my train of thought here. But if we've seen 2 reds, we really ought to have a writer here. Okay, this got further, so we have 2 reds and 2 blues. Oh, we add a blue onto the end. So that brought us from 2 reds to 1 red. And this should bring us to... Oh, we need to cycle through the blues. Or actually, we've read 2 blues. What's good is reduce the number of blues by 1, but then we need to cycle through the blues before we get through this thing. We keep going until we get to the first red. And then we've already read an extra red, so we can skip that. And instead go through here to the you've already seen a red thing. A red and a blue. We have nothing. Which should go just back to the start. Put in 2 blues. Brings us to a single blue. It's stuck in a loop. Oh my god. Right, we get rid of a red. Right, a blue. Okay, can we simplify this by just adding a red like we added a blue before, and then instead of going to the we've seen one red thing, we just go to the, oh, you can go back to the start. And get rid of that one, actually. Okay, cool. Asked Tasuki what the long-term plan was for these robots was, and was started when Tasuki said there wasn't one. The cyber prophet predicted our tech would cause changes that would wipe out any plans we made. What changes? What should we do about them? They were still figuring that out. Okay, so let's see what exactly it is I accomplished here. So this cuts out a red and a blue. So the main path is we do a red, we add an extra blue, we read all the reds, we remove that extra blue, we add an extra red, we remove. Okay, so this is probably going to be more clear if I just show it. So we have 4 reds and 4 blues, for example. So the first thing we do is we read a red. And then we need to add this blue to deal with some edge cases. We just add it onto the end. But then we read an additional red, write it, and cycle through until we're done. So now we have 3 red at the back, but we've added an extra blue. Or we had added an extra blue, but we read it. So we should have at least 1 blue. We get rid of that, and then we need to cycle through all our blues. But we need to make sure we have at least a red at the end. So we kind of do the same thing. And then we're down to 3 reds and 3 blues. Cool. Okay. Let's see if I can work through the fruit crusher. Humanity is forced to make an impossible choice, Tezuki told me. Fast food was unhealthy, and healthy food was far too much work to prepare. Our first step towards solving it, a robot that crushed fruit, making healthful shakes for you in your own home. So, insert a blue into the middle of the tape and then produce. Okay. I think there's a similar one to this in the original Manufactoria. So I think you have to work your way in from both ends. You, So basically, like if you had 6 reds to start, you would want to do... Like if you start with 6 reds, you would want to turn it into something like... Oh, I can't input blues. But you want it to be like... Have a blue 1 from the start and the end, and then a blue from the second from the start and the end, and then blues in the middle. And then... That would be about right. Because you'd have 2 blues in the middle, and you could just, you know, once you have 2 blues in the middle, you could somehow reduce that by 1 and cycle to the start. Okay. We have a single one. So we're definitely going to need a blue to track where the end is. And then I guess we can swap the front and the end. So we'll read a red. You know what, this might be conceptually simpler if I just write in a blue read through, write 2 blues, cycle through all the reds, read a blue, and then I'll have a blue at the start and the end. So, for example, if I do it this way, so it adds 2 blues to the end, moves everything in front of them back, moves 1 of them to the end. So now we have a blue at the start and the back. Okay, something like that. And then I think I'm going to want to go until I see the first blue. And then sort of reverse the order. And then go until I see another red. And then reverse the order again. And then sort of start over, something like that. So let's see. Here we go. Oh, this seems suspicious. I cycle through, so I have a blue at the front and the back. I read the blue, or read the red, or read the blue. Ah. I need to add a filter. That's not what I want. Alright, so I have a blue at the beginning of the and. I replace blue and red with red and blue. And then I go through until I've seen a blue at the end, and I replace that with a red and a blue. No, I want to replace that with a blue and a red. So I have blue at the beginning and the end. And at this point I have a blue one from the beginning and the end, but I've got one too many reds. So let's... Let's move this whole thing up. Oh, I should have another red. It should get rid of the extra red. Alright, blue at the beginning and end. It has 6 reds. Blue at the beginning and end. At this point. So this is what I'm thinking of as the start. Right here. So I have a red and blue, and I have the 5 reds. So I read through the 5 reds. Get a blue. And then I have this in the wrong order. I think I want to swap this and not have the writer here. And then do have a writer here. This will cut out the number of reds by 1 until we hit a blue. And then the beginning and end. That has 5 reds when we should have 6. That has 6. Alright, so we're good here. 6 reds, we've moved one of the blues back. Okay. At that point, we've moved the blues in. They're both 1 from the front and back. Oh no. This should be 2 reds and a blue. And then I want 2 more reds and then a blue and 2 reds. 1, 2 reds. A blue and a red. Okay. So this is like almost right. But we're not keeping track of the and, so I'm probably gonna need like a 3rd blue to keep track of the and. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit complicated. I think I'm going to need to think about it a little bit, but you get the general idea here. We're trying to move in from both ends in order to find the center. So, yeah, I think if we mark where the end is, then we'll probably be able to figure that out. But that will be all for this episode, and thank you for watching. All right, bye.